Greetings to everyone. Today we're going to discuss this very interesting topic. What kind of man is currently beside you? I'm laying out 4 different cards right now. Please take a moment to carefully choose one. What kind of man is beside you? First, second, third, fourth. I'll give you a couple of seconds to decide. Well, I hope you had enough time. Let's start revealing them. For those who chose the first card, you have an exceptionally reliable and very stable person right there beside you. And what does he bring to you? He truly brings you blessings. In other words, he brings you abundance. How will your relationship with him develop? Marriage is possible here, a union is possible, a very significant partnership. In other words, there is a strong indication that this is truly your life partner. And what is the purpose of this relationship for you in general? The relationship is given to you to provide a truly powerful push, powerful growth. The ace carries a great deal of potential, a lot of energy. This is a man who can give you an incredible, overwhelming amount, believe me. Let's ask the cards what specific guidance and wisdom they can give you, and what profound advice the cards will offer you right now. The cards advise you, listen, this is really some kind of ideal story here. The cards advise you to invest in this relationship, to take active steps. And from the perspective of being a reliable partner, a dependable person for this individual, he can give you so much. You are advised to invest and do so quite seriously in this relationship. And for those who chose the second card next to you, look, here is a dependable and reliable man. However, he can also be quite incredibly and a little too lazy. That is as if he leads a very settled lifestyle, yes. Let's do a diagnostic here. He really is a trustworthy and good person. But here sometimes he can show some negative traits: ego, stubbornness, and a handful of slightly challenging and troublesome character traits. He'll be like, that's what I said, that's what I firmly decided. Let's take a look. What do these relationships bring you? They bring you the energy of not being very satisfied with the current situation. That is, with what you have, with what is in these relationships so far, you are not very satisfied. And how will these relationships develop? Listen, well, in this case, the story is that these relationships have a high probability of coming to an end. So that's the situation. What are these relationships given to you for? What, in general, are you supposed to take away from them? These relationships are given to you so that you can actually understand what it is that you truly want. These relationships bring you clarity and understanding. How does it usually happen? So for you, this is a kind of experience that will bring you clarity in the future. Here, I don't see any development so far. Most likely, these relationships are coming to an end. But this person came into your life to give you some very important realization, a very important understanding, so that perhaps in your next relationships, you won't allow a situation like the one here that doesn't suit you. What kind of man is under card number 3? Here we have a bit of a trickster, a quiet, subtle trickster, you might say. Yes, well, let's ask ourselves. Let's really ask. So, why exactly do you need this kind of trickster in your life? Why do you need a person like this? It is so that you can grow up, so that you become much wiser, so that you start valuing yourself significantly more and finally stop settling for anything less than you deserve. Here, it's very important to consider, what can these complex relationships actually give you when dealing with this person? Well, what they can give you is that these relationships with this person are a transitional period before a new stage, one that's of higher quality. So treat these relationships as an opportunity to become more confident in yourself, to know and feel, that you are worthy of exactly this kind of high quality relationship. In other words, in these relationships, you'll realize that this is not what you want. You'll start to value yourself more, and these relationships are a transitional period for you. And for those who chose the particular fourth card, what kind of man is standing right there next to you? Here we are talking about a driven, goal oriented person, perhaps with a strong competitive nature and spirit. All right, let's take a closer look. This individual may have a very powerful and intense competitive spirit. He relentlessly strives for his own personal success at any cost, no matter the price. He is an extremely goal oriented individual, driven by an intense and singular focus. Very, very much so. So you must ask yourself, what do these difficult relationships with such a person actually give you? In reality, they do nothing but deprive you of your precious inner peace and your sense of emotional calm. Unfortunately, you may end up worrying quite a lot within this taxing relationship. So here there might be the pressure of the chariot card. He might just be putting constant pressure on you. He is incredibly stubborn, a bit brazen, very driven, and restless. And he completely takes away your sense of peace, your inner harmony. So why do you even truly need this relationship? What can you get out of it? Look, what you can truly take away from this experience is that you will learn. There's a famous saying, slow and steady wins the race, which means you will gradually become much more confident in yourself. You'll deeply reflect upon your journey and you'll begin to understand what it is that you really want in life. Yes, in fact, this is essentially a profound kind of self exploration. Here, you need to think carefully about what is actually happening and why did this specific dream come to you at this moment. It's really about gaining some valuable experience in terms of rethinking and thoroughly reassessing things at their very core. That is, it's all about analysis. This situation, these relationships bring you this analysis. It's an analysis of this situation. So, what's the outcome with this person? What awaits you? What is the outcome? Here it leads to a separation. In fact, the identifier by the Queen of Swords is very strong, an indicator of a possible breakup. So these are relationships with a very powerful and intense element of some kind of competition, constantly stripping away and depriving you of inner peace, leading you to your inner self confidence, to your inner sense that you will become yourself. In other words, you will grow spiritually and emotionally in this relationship. You will eventually come to realize and understand that you will become wiser, you will understand yourself better. So it's not by chance that such a person has come into your life. He brings you something, this spiritual growth. Thanks to him, you will grow emotionally and spiritually. Forgive me, you will grow and make a decision about separation, in fact. So, this is the wonderful, beautiful picture that has turned out. But pay attention. Each of you has been given this relationship for a reason. Well, the lucky ones today are, of course, those who chose the first card. That is, they are clearly in a much better position with very good relationships that can enrich you and bring a lot of wonderful and good things into your life. As for the rest, these relationships come to you more for rethinking, for a transitional stage, so that you, for those who chose the fourth card, become wiser. For those who chose the third card, it's so that you become more confident in yourself and start to value yourself more. And for those who chose the second card, these relationships are needed for you as a realization. You will take something away from them. It is very important as it will help you reach the necessary stage, the right level in the future. That's why these relationships are given to you. I wish everyone a good day.